Well, I just beat the rain home. Starting to drizzle. What's up, cats? What's happening? I got a story for you today. I talked about some of my, well, at least one of my other videos, I talked about the biker chain, the wallet chain. Some of you guys wear them, some of you guys don't. Not a big deal, but it's kind of been, I don't know, a classic dress for bikers. Or the Harley bikers, anyways. I don't know about the sport bike riders. I don't think they wear wallet chains, but might be a thing of the past now. Those fads come and go. But anyway, I wear my wallet chain every time I go out on the bike, and sometimes I wear it, when I go out. Just, I don't know. It's always been a part of my dress. Ever since I was a teenager, I wore a wallet chain. I got a story about that. When I was employed, I worked for the park system. It was a pretty big park system, and there was a lot going on there. And I started out as a young man right out of high school and was just, pushing a lawnmower and things like that. But I quickly worked my way up the ladder because at that point, back in the 70s, a lot of the guys that worked for the park, the maintenance crew, they were very poorly educated people. Some of them had no education, no school at all. They came up from West Virginia or down south and got a job, and it was just menial labor. Well, I could ace that and everything else. I knew how to work on equipment, and I eventually worked my way up the ladder to where I was on a construction crew, and I became the foreman of that construction crew, or a crew leader. So I'd go out on the job with the guys, do the work, but lead the work, lead the crew, and make sure they were doing what was expected of them in the quality that was expected of them. So I did that for many, many years and went through a number of different bosses on and off. My first boss was an ex-tank commander, so he was a real hardcore, a lot of people hated him because when his vehicle came around the corner and you were on a job site, there was guys that would actually run and hide because they were so afraid of this guy, because he was like the hardcore drill sergeant on the job. He would come up, and if one thing was out of line, boy, he would light into you. Well, one of the fellas that was under his mentorship or under his training was just a young man at that point, right out of college. And he took a beating from this guy. He was harassed so bad and belittled every day and just made to do, I guess you could say in a way, he was kind of treated like a prospect would be in a motorcycle club. Meant to do all the dirty work, and when you snapped your fingers, you had to jump. Anyway, as the years went by, he went on and found another job somewhere else. And eventually, the position opened again for that boss position, and he took the job. So now this kid that was under the mentorship of this tank commander was now our boss. And he was trying to, I guess, emulate or be the same way that this other guy was. So he wasn't liked at all. He followed everything by the book. If you stepped out of line, he was all over it and ready to serve disciplinary actions. Well, anyway, he came up to me one day and he said, "How long have you been here?" I said, "Well, I'm pushing 40 years here pretty soon." And he said, "Well, you've been here long enough that you need to have a promotion." He said, "I truly believe in the school of hard knocks, and you probably know more about how to do things around here than anybody. And so I'm going to see if I can find a job for you, a fit-in, a shoe-in. So, wow. I said, well, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd really like that. I think that would be neat. So, uh, I mean, I think maybe a month or so went by, and he came over to me and he said, I got a position for you. I'd like to make you a project manager. Now, he said, you won't be out working with the crews anymore, and now you're going to be on a salary, and you're going to be in upper management. He said, you'll have your own office, uh, get you everything you need, and we'll put the jobs on your desk, and you have to do everything. You've got to set the job up. You've got to figure out the materials that are going to be needed, the manpower, the equipment needed, uh, whether or not it's going to need to be contracted out or whether we can do it in-house. And if it gets contracted out, you have to get the quotes from different contractors and accept the quote or the bid, and then proceed with hiring that contractor and oversee the whole project that way. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I mean, that's what I've been doing basically, but if it's, another step up, yeah, I can handle that. So that was the thing. He gave me an office. He set me up, you know, he said, order whatever you need, get yourself set up here. I ordered the best desktop computer that was on the market. I had the biggest, nicest LED screen and the best, fastest computer, probably more than some of the people in the main office did. And I even ordered myself a big, comfortable leather office chair to swivel around in at my desk. I thought, well, if I got to sit at a desk all day, I'm going to do this in comfort. I'm not, I got to put in my last years. I'm going to do it right. And he didn't care. He didn't complain. He was just happy to give me the position. Well, one of the requirements of that position was to go to these weekly meetings. And, they changed my uniform. I had to wear a different uniform. I had to wear these black BDUs, almost like police officers wear. I had to wear black shiny shoes or boots, and I had to wear a tan polo shirt. So that was out of my element. I didn't like uniforms, and I had no choice, though. That was required of me, and I wasn't allowed to wear the hat either. But one of the things that I continued to do was wear my biker chain attached to my wallet. So anyway, I went to the meeting, and of course it was like a meeting you'd see in a big office complex. The big long oval table with the fancy swivel chairs all the way around, and everybody that was in the upper echelon, they all had their seat around the table. The boss sat up at the head of the table, and went like that. So I took a seat in one of the chairs there. And then at the meeting, they'd go around the room, and you'd have to read your report, let people know, what you were doing, what your progress was, what the financial situation was of your project, the whole thing. So it went around the table, came to me, and I gave my report, and everything was all fine and dandy. Of course, I was the bottom of the totem pole, so I was the last one to give my 2 cents worth. And then they adjourned the meeting. So, of course, a lot of these people were dressed in business attire. Some of them are wearing a suit and a tie. And, I'm wearing my polo shirt and my BDUs, but I had my wallet chain on. Anyway, I go to stand up, and my wallet chain caught on the arm of this office chair and flipped it over and banged it into the chair next to me and almost knocked it over. And, people were stepping back. I didn't hit anybody. But the boss, man, he looked at me, pointed at me. Lose the wallet chain now. I was pretty humiliated in front of all these people, I felt like about that tall. And I took my wallet chain off and slid it into my pocket. And then he said, I'll see you in my office. I was like, oh boy, what now? He took me in his office and says, I sat down at the desk across from him, and he said, you have an image to portray now to the company, and the wallet chain, the biker thing, doesn't fit that image here. You can do whatever you want when you're off the job, but when you're on the job, I have a certain protocol that I need you to follow, and your uniform, your dress is one of the things that I want you to take more seriously. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, I can do that. So that was the end of wearing the wallet chain at work. I only had a couple more years to put in there. I did not like my office job at all. I hated it. Because I didn't get to go out so much anymore. I was strapped to my desk, doing reports, calling on the phone, calling contractors and arguing with them, ordering materials and just sitting there doing paperwork, trying to figure things out. And whenever I had a chance, I would jump in my vehicle and I could drive off and check on the crews to make sure they were doing the quality of work that was expected of them. But I didn't get to be a part of the crew anymore. And because I was in management, they all kind of gave me the snub, like, uh-oh, here he comes. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to worry about me. I'm not going to snitch on you or anything. I'm just doing my job, and I'm just going to, cooperate with you guys best I can because I worked with you guys for all these years, and that's not going to change. So they were pretty cool with me, but I still didn't like that part of my job, being in the office all the time. So it did help me out in the long run, though. It added to my final retirement package. So it worked out all for the better. Do the time, and it works out eventually. Well, anyway, thanks for listening to my story. Appreciate your support and hanging with me. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. I'd like to have you join us on this ride. Well, now that it's raining, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself the rest of the... Well, I do know what I got to do. The neighbor guy wants me to haul some tires for him in the truck, so I'm going to take my truck over and meet him and see whatever he wants to do. So that'll happen, rain or shine. All right, cats. I'll catch you next time. Ride hard and die free.